I absolutely love this thing. It's probably my favorite thing out of my entire setup. It was actually a gift from my girlfriend about 2 years ago for Christmas, right? So you can just control everything on here, change the colors. You can even do like flash, you know, change the modes if you want a seizure or something like that. You know, you have that option. Let's see, smooth, there we go. All right, so you're gonna hear a little bit of a fan. This is my bathroom where I take my shits and shower. And this is me. I haven't been on camera in a minute, but I was gonna, you know, show my face for the setup video. And I'm gonna start streaming soon, so you're gonna start seeing more of me as well. So if you are specifically just for the Sandstorm settings, I will leave a timestamp in the description for you guys if you want to go straight there. But for now, this is my entire setup. I'm gonna exit out of here. This is my bedroom, right? I got my closet. It's actually pretty big. You know, go Lakers. They're gonna win the championship this year. Got my bed. You know, I got my old PS4 where I watch my shit. And then the Beauty and the Beast. See, that one's the Beauty, and that one's the Beast over there behind. Another gift from my girlfriend, the chair. Yep, she is the best. So yeah, I'm just kind of showing off everything. Everything's not totally at 100% right now. Like, I haven't set up completely everything, but I'm just about like 95% done with packing. I just moved into my new place Friday and then immediately left for Disneyland on Sunday morning. See me, I'll give a little wave. So yeah, it's been a very hectic week or two, you know, moving in, then going on vacation with my girlfriend. But it was fun, it was well needed, and now I'm back on my grind, and I'm gonna show you guys everything I use within my setup. So I'm gonna sit down because I'm a lazy bastard. So this is my Ryzen. I also have the box right on top of my modem, or right under my modem. I'm gonna take a look. That was like $100. That was actually really cool because it comes in with a built-in LED light. So you can turn it off, or you can adjust it, right? You can make it brighter, or right before you turn it off, it goes low, you know? So that's pretty cool. You can also see the adjustments. I'm gonna show this. So I turned off all the lights just to really show it off. So that's just the light coming off my monitors. Now it's turned on, so it's pretty good. And then that's the lowest setting. That's the brightest setting. Looks pretty good. I don't know what the wave was for, but we're gonna just lower this a bit. I don't know exactly how big my face is gonna be for the stream or where it's gonna be. Well, in a bit, it's gonna be probably just right here. I don't mind it. If you have any suggestions, you know, let me know. So yeah, we're gonna go back to the phone. All right, so back with the hardware. So remember, that's my gaming, that's my editing / streaming PC. So a little story time for you. I used to have an older PC that I used for streaming, right? That older PC had a 1060 with 3 gigabytes of memory for the graphics card, 8 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of memory, and only an i5-7400 for the CPU. So yeah, it was a piece of crap. I used that to connect this PC with an Elgato HG60S. Yeah, that was a very crappy setup, but I had to make ends meet, and that was the only thing I could really afford at the time. So, you know, I made it work and I made some videos, but believe it or not, because this was my editing, because my older PC couldn't handle any of that, I kind of used this for editing / gaming. So I'd have to transfer the files through hard drive, and this is a 64 gigabyte hard drive that I used specifically for transferring files. And on my older PC, it only had USB 2.0, not USB 3.0. So file transferring was so long, like literally just 164 gigabytes worth of a hard drive took an hour to transfer from, you know, the older PC to the hard drive. Thankfully, with my streaming PC, it does have USB 3.0, so it only took 5 minutes to transfer over to this, but it took about 2 hours just to do one episode's worth of clips, because I usually took about 120 gigabytes worth of clips just for one episode back then. Back before I really learned about bitrate and crap like that, so files were a little lengthier than they should have been. But to actually get into the specs of this PC, with the upgrade, I had gotten a Elgato 4K 60 Pro. Huge jump in quality, I love it. I got it refurbished off Amazon for $100 when it's worth about $350, I wanna say. So yeah, I got a pretty killer deal off that. I have a 1070 with an i7 8700K and 16 gigabytes RAM at 2400 megahertz or whatever that speed is for RAM. And my gaming PC is the exact same, except it has a 1070 Ti graphics card instead. I definitely need to upgrade the RAM because it's only at 2400 speed when it should be at 3200 speed. So I'll probably invest in that for my gaming PC next month for my birthday or something like that. So that'll be pretty fun. So yeah, I can't wait to really, you know, get the RAM going, and then it should be, you know, cool for a cool minute. Then my keyboard, I actually really like this keyboard because it's actually pretty silent. You'll never really hear it in my mic. That's actually a huge pet peeve. I hate how people just love loud keyboards, you know, that are mechanical, and you hear a whole typing of an essay while they're playing. It gets pretty annoying. This is my really shitty keyboard. This is the default that came with my older PC. I even broke the caps on it and spilled chocolate milk in there like a dumbass. This is my default mouse that came with it. It was an HP. Now this, I love this thing, right? This is my first mouse that I got with my PC, and I haven't bought a new one since because it still works. Sometimes, you know, the triggers like to, you know, be held down even though it's not. Like, it won't stay hold, but you know, electronically or whatever, in game, it'll act like the trigger's being held down. So sometimes you see that in some of my clips where my gun just goes off for no reason. This is actually a Steel Series keyboard. I got it for 60 bucks. It was a pretty good deal at Fry's. And I couldn't tell you what the brand of the keyboard or the mouse is. I can find the mouse, but I'm too lazy to. And the keyboard, honestly, I throw away the boxes. I don't like to hoard that stuff like some people do, even though I'm hoarding my Ryzen, which I'm glad I did because it was very useful for my Moto mount. I use a Yeti for my microphone. 100 bucks, pretty good actually. This is a very solid microphone. I definitely suggest it. I got a little cover, you know, for it. This is all just, you know, steel under it or whatever the material is. This actually helps a lot with background noise. You won't pick up, you know, a fan in the background or, you know, just any background noise in general with that thing. This, I definitely suggest to everyone. If you're looking for a cheap but very useful headset, it would definitely be HyperX. This company makes miracles. I bought this thing for 60 bucks like 3 years ago, right, for my PS4. It has an interchangeable mic right on the bottom, but of course I took it out because I use my Yeti. And ever since then, you know, they've just, you know, worked miracles. It's very comfortable. It sounds amazing. I don't ever need an upgrade until that thing like snaps in half, and it hasn't yet. There's really no issues I've ever had with it. You know, it'd be cool to upgrade to something more better, but you know, this is a bang for your buck right here. If you're on a budget, HyperX is definitely the way to go. Then with my monitors, I have an Acer monitor. This is actually refurbished as well. I got it for like 99 bucks on Amazon refurbished. You can tell actually it's broken. So right here, you see that little glow? Yeah, I don't know what happened. Maybe it was dropped previously, but it was like that as I got it. I don't really mind it. The contrast is also a little different. I can probably just adjust that myself. but I'm too lazy to do that as well because it's not like I'm gaming on it. Now my gaming monitor is an Asus 144 hertz, 1080p, can't get 4K on it. Neither is that one. That one's also only 1080p. But this gets the job done. Honestly, as long as you have a 144 hertz monitor, that's all you really need. As long as it's 1080p. I would love a 4K one, but what can you do? So I got a little sound foams for you. That way, it doesn't bounce off. I definitely suggest these things because I don't think a lot of people realize when you have a setup, especially against the wall, your sound bounces off and it can hit back on the microphone. And this happens a lot with a lot of people. That's why you hear a lot of echoes. That definitely helps. I think I got 6 of these for like $30 on Amazon. And I'm planning to get a lot more, to finish everything. My mouse pad is some cheapy $5 big one that I got from Amazon. I think it was a sale, so that's why I got such a big one for just $5, because this one was like $15 and it's Corsair and it's about a third of the size of this one, so it just kind of shows you what a rip-off some things can be. So yeah, let's get into my Insurgency settings. So before I get into my actual settings, I totally forgot to mention I don't have an audio mixer. That thing's like $100, so I'm actually saving up for it with the RAM. Those will probably be my next 2 upgrades for my whole entire setup. But currently, I have all my gaming audio being sent to my streaming PC, and my microphone is actually connected to my streaming PC, and the game audio is being sent to my microphone. So it's a little confusing on how all that's set up, and believe it or not, I cannot speak in-game at all. So I usually mute the lobbies anyways, but there's no way to actually interact or speak through comms at all with the way my setup is right now currently. And it kind of sucks because I actually have a lot of people who want to, who say hi, and I can't speak to them, and I usually type in chat. It's nothing personal. I would love to interact with my community more. I just can't do it until I get my audio mixer. So just a quick heads up. Okay, so we're going to get started with binds. So I'm just going to kind of scroll through here with all my binds. So you can just copy and paste that if you choose to, but I'm really going to focus on certain key binds. So crouch, I use toggle. I suggest that for everyone. Holding is just a real pain for crouch. And I use C button. I know a lot of people use control, and that's okay too. Apex Legends, I use control because sliding's easy in Apex Legends, just because control, I guess you can use like the back of your palm or whatever to press control. It's easy that way. But I personally prefer the C button. Leaning, I always suggest this. If you have side mouse buttons, usually 2 come with the default of gaming mouses, definitely suggest using those. It's kind of like driving as well, if you know how to drive. It's like blinkers. So your left blinker would be going to the bottom, and if you flip the blinker up, it would go right. So it's the same thing with your mouse. That's the way I have it set up. And I definitely suggest hold for leaning and not toggle. It just makes it a lot more fluent. And honestly, you're not using anything with your thumbs anyways, so you might as well have it on hold. Then you have aim down sights. I have that on hold as well rather than toggle. I actually know a lot of people use toggle, and I always tell them just switch to hold. It's easier. Your aim will be greatly improved once you get used to it, because I actually used to use toggle back when I first started out on PC gaming, and then over time I saw a lot of professional gamers use hold, and I tried it out for myself, and it really is just a whole new world. It's so much better. It's so much more fluent. Just switch it. Trust me, after like a month, or not even a month, after a week of getting used to it, you already see more improvements within your aim. So toggle underbarrel attachment, I use Q. Now that Q and E is free to use, I also use explosives tab as E. So if I just need my explosive, I just press E right off the bat. It's easy. Now I do have a kind of a gripe with Insurgency Sandstorm, so I'm going to show you as an example real quick. So if we go to my class,
So this is explosives tab, right? You have 1, 2, 3 explosives tabs. So if I press E, you would automatically think that it would be the first one on the first slot, right? No, it's not the case. It would be, I don't even know what the order is. It would either pop up the grenade first or the smoke. If you had flash, smoke, and grenade, it would always pop up one of those three, and it's never the first one, and it's just so annoying. You would think that the first tab would be the tab that you selected for your keybind, and on top of that, I just don't understand why they haven't added separate keybinds in general for the explosives tabs. So all these explosive tabs are under one keybind, which is E, and I have to cycle through all of them just to pick out the particular one, which is a huge nuisance. When in reality, I could just assign the first tab as E, this one at 5, and then this one at 6. So I really don't understand why they haven't added that yet. It's very simple to add to the game as well. Comms menu is my caps. That's whatever, but tab I use for my map, and map is actually very important in this game because you got to realize if you're hearing some sounds, you want to know if there's teammates next to you in that general direction, so you know if it's your teammate or not, because sound whoring in this game is huge. And that's basically it with the binds menu. Now we're going to move on to controls. All right, so onto my controls. So manual bipod deploy is turned on for me. Automatic is fine too, because bipoding in this game, to be realistic, is pretty crappy. So automatic deploy, I just constantly deployed when I didn't want to deploy, and it would affect me sometimes, so I kept it on manual. And even manual is a pain because I can go up to an object and I have to spam the bipod button like 3 times until it finally does it. So it's kind of a nuisance, honestly. Bipoding in this game in general just needs to be more cleaned up and more fluent, and especially on certain objects, because I know certain objects I can definitely bipod and it just doesn't let me sometimes. So hopefully that gets cleaned up. My look sensitivity is at 0.31, and I forgot to mention my Corsair mouse, my default DPI is at 1500 both ways, so horizontal and vertical, so just remember that. So 0.31 is my look sensitivity. My aim down sensitivity 0.56, 0.9, 0.6, 1, 1, 0.61, 1, 1, 0.73. Honestly, these aren't all perfect. Probably the ones I use most, like aim down, scope, I wouldn't even say focus. Like, I kind of adjust some of these depending on what sight I use, but I rarely use 4.0s. I mostly use 7s or iron sights, maybe even the 2 is important at 0.61. But that's it. You'd probably just have to mess with it. It's somewhere around like the 0.6s for me is where I like to adjust it. Scaled, all this stuff. All this is just gamepad, different things like that. So now with the video tab, I also switched the camera to the opposite side that we can actually read all this right here properly. So just give it a quick look. Now this is all, default, whatever, vertical sync, gamma, it's whatever, nothing too special. Field of view is actually at 90, which is default, I believe. I used to have this maxed out, and then one day, like probably a couple months back, my settings got reverted from an update and it went back to 90, and I didn't notice. And while I was playing, I just liked the feel of it more, and ever since then I just keep it at 90. It's all up to your opinion. I know a lot of people like it to keep it at max because you have more of a field of view and you can see more people on the sides of your screens and whatnot, but personally 90, it's just way more fluent for me. It's just that perfect amount of space that I need to aim, and it just feels good on my mouse. It's all about muscle memory, and just 90 is where it's at for me. With quality, I do have anti-aliasing at TAA, which I believe is the best. This makes it crisp, so it makes the lines look crisp. It doesn't make it look blurry. You can have all this on high and whatnot and just keep it at FXAA, and TAA still kind of looks better, to be quite honest with you. View distance is at high. Everything is low except for post-processing is at medium. I have Framerate Smoothing on at 90 FPS. Capped, I usually get around 110 FPS, maybe even 120. I just tend to like it capped at 90 just because it feels more smoother when you do that. And I also like consistency as well. The motion blur is turned off. I used to have that turned on. Doesn't really matter, but personally, if you have a high-end PC, I do suggest turning it off. Now, all this, nothing too big. I don't even know how to say this. Anistrophic filtering times 16. That's maxed out. Makes the game look a little better. I do always suggest turning, ambient occlusion or tessellation off because those are just lighting effects. It does make the game look beautiful, but it does take a huge load on your PC. Same thing with, screen reflections and whatnot. Now, dynamic shadow, I don't really know the difference with this. I think it's just the resolution of the shadow. I keep it at 512. For lower end PCs or if you're trying to get max performance, put it at 256, but 512 should be good. Streaming texture pools at high at fixed distance. This actually does it automatically. Depending on what settings you use, this usually just inputs by itself, so you never have to worry about that. Now with our audio settings, I have everything on default, except for the mute VoIP, because I know a lot of you people like to just press that VoIP button, like spamming it. So all you hear is the beeping. So I ended up turning that off. Thank God they added an option for that. But yeah, guys, that's about it for all my settings, really. That's all these. I didn't really show gain, but there's really nothing too special, I'd say. But besides that, I hope you guys learned something from this. I hope you guys can, pick up some of my settings. And I don't know, I'm just timing this so I can die from suicide from... Fuck, it'd even kill me. Alright, so I'm guessing I have like 20 seconds. About like 10 seconds. So yeah, this is MG Gibbs. I'm out. Have a good one. Settings. I'm starting to see the grenade come back. 3, 2, 1. Bye-bye.